All right. So I'm looking through my clips, my channel. Not a big channel, I get it. And all my clips when it comes to Call of Duty or first person shooters for that matter are all older Call of Duties, or the most recent would be Cold War. Uh, I'm looking at the fact that I love me some arcadey style shooters, and I look at Modern Warfare 3. I'm like, okay, it just came out. So I look it up, and this is what I get. I get this image right here. I see a lot of people who not going to hold a grudge. I'm not going to hold anything against anyone. I'm not here to be a dickhead and call people out. I don't give a shit. I just look at a bunch of people who were paid to say some nice things. And then I see mostly negative reviews. Now, this isn't mostly negative because it's unfounded. It's mostly negative because it's legitimate. They decided halfway through development on a DLC that they were going to turn it into a full fledged game and slap 3 at the end of it. What have we got? We have a bare bones copy pasta, short as hell campaign, which, look, I don't care about story. I don't care about that stuff as much as I care about how's the gameplay, how's the multiplayer. That's what I want to get into. So, yeah, no bueno. Nah, not even close. We get this short, crappy storyline that apparently doesn't even end well. Granted, I'm not going to give it the time of day. You can take it or leave it. But then I go into the comments and I'm like, okay, one of the things that you have to take with a grain of salt when you come across these types of these overwhelmingly negative or highly negative, whatever the case may be, you got to go, okay, do people get burned because there's too much, you know, I don't want to too much of the pandering or too much of subjectivity when it comes to the reviews. Like they don't like the story because it's too far this way or that way, or it does talks about things they don't like. We're not talking about subjectivity. Subjectivity is where you say I don't like this game because the storyline isn't the kind of storyline I like, or I don't like the mechanics or the gameplay, or blah blah blah. I don't like it. But when it's a collective nobody likes, and it's because there are glaring issues, then it's objective. This is an objective problem here. This game was shat out just to satiate. And I can guarantee you that's the reason why we got so many nostalgia trips all bundled into one. The entire multiplayer is just reimagined, or not even reimagined, rehashed old Modern Warfare 2 maps from over, what, 14 years now? All packaged together to lure you in with this whole idea that, oh, nostalgia, remember? You remember Terminal? Terminal was also in multiple other Call of Duties as well, as well as Nuke, or not Nuke, but Rust. I am pretty sure there's other maps that were rehashed and reused before as well. We just got a bunch of remakes of old maps. Here's where I'm going to come in and say that this is not developer problems. This is suit and ties who are squeezing every bit of life out of the gaming world. This is a prime example of it. Now, it's been going on for a long time, but this is one of the most egregious, disrespectful ways that they have done this. Not only did they sucker you into $70, but they admitted it was a DLC originally, and there was never $70 worth of content here. Not only that, but this whole idea of packaging everything under the umbrella of just Call of Duty and having you go into a lobby that allows you to select what game. What's the point of having BattleNet or Steam or anything like that. That was the whole point of those things, is to, you know, congregate all your, you group up all your game. That was the hub. That was the point. But instead, you made it software that you have to log into, bring it up, and then every time. And here's the thing: it wouldn't even be an issue, but every time you select on something, the damn game has to kick you out and then reload again. Why? Anyway, I'm looking at the comments, and you got a lot of comments here that are absolutely hysterical. I love some of this stuff. This one here: I have less shame in admitting to owning porn games in my library than I do with this game. Some people just straight up saying, "Please do not purchase." And this is another great example of vote with your wallet. This does not deserve to be purchased. Even if you are a big fan of Call of Duty, even if you are so deeply embedded, it's it's this like fixation that's buried into your brain, and you just cannot break that. And you have to buy every Call of Duty, and you have to play every Call of Duty, and you got a handful of buddies that you always have to play it. This is an example of don't, don't. Companies will never learn. Now here's a couple other things that I wanted to bring up, other than kind of laughing at some of these comments. I do suggest go over to the Modern Warfare 3 comment section on Steam. It's a hoot. But I wanted to bring something else up. This right here. Now this is the Wikipedia, and we all know grain of salt when it comes to Wikipedia, but this is technically, this is the actual story behind Activision. I want you to concentrate on that first paragraph. I'll read it to you. In 1976, Warner Communication bought Atari Incorporated from Nolan Bushnell. He was the owner of Atari. To help accelerate the Atari Video Computer System, Atari VCS, or later the Atari 2600, to market by 1977. That same year, Atari began hiring programmers to create games for the system. Prior to Warner's acquisition, the company did not award bonus pay to programmers who worked on profitable games, nor did they credit the programmers publicly. So, with that being said, up here, if you go down to paragraph 3, students, Crane, Kaplan, Miller, and Whitehead became vocal about the lack of recognition within the company and became known as the Gang of Four. The group met with Kasser in May of 1979 to demand the company treat developers as record labels treated musicians, with royalties and their names on the game boxes. Do you see what I mean by this? Activision legitimately started as a company that focused on the developers and made sure, hey, we want you to be recognized for your work and your dedication to the games that you produce and the company you work for. You are the face of our company. Now, fast forward 30 years, look at the fucking shit they're doing now. They treat them like garbage, like second-rate citizens. They just loom over them like they're some sort of demigods. It's sick. People like Kotick needs to, I would say he needs to retire or leave, but we know he won't. And just because he would leave, or anybody else for that matter, you know damn well 3 more people that are worse than that will come right in. It's time to start actually pointing at these companies, shame, shame, and telling them to take their shit, pack it up, and get out of here. Even though there's some microtransactions and other stuff, there is a free game on fucking Steam that's been out for years now that's totally free, and it plays just like a Call of Duty game. It's called Iron Sight. Go play that. It's free. Use that as a jumping off point. Just sit back and let Activision soak in this garbage. The lawsuits that I'm seeing, they need to keep going. Push it. Do whatever you can. This company needs to be held accountable. They've been getting away with this shit for so long. It's just old now. Activision. You've seen what they became long enough to become the villain.